It's Tuesday, January 25th, 2022. What I want to talk about today is longer deliveries and why I like them. Now, I'm a $2 a mile guy. Like 90% of everything I take pays $2 a mile. There's only 2 times where I'll compromise that $2 a mile or real close delivery. One, of course, is going home. If there's a delivery going towards my house, I'll compromise that depending on how far it's going and how much it pays, blah, blah, blah. That makes all the sense in the world, right? Okay, the second time I will do that is for a little bit longer delivery. So everybody talks about miles to money. I'm going to talk about minutes to money. And it's a concept that I use for longer deliveries. Especially in the afternoon. Let's say it's between 2 and 4, and I get offered a $21.50 delivery that goes 14 miles. So that's $1.50, right? Of course, it depends on where it goes. If it's all highway, or if it's going to another place where you can get more deliveries. Those are the 2 things that you have to look at. Now, let's look at it's not going somewhere where you're apt to get more food. Now, in Chesterfield, Missouri, that's probably Weldon Springs, right? Out towards St. Charles. If it doesn't go all the way to at least Mid-Rivers Mall, you're probably not going to get anything over that way, or it's going to be too far away from you, blah, blah, blah. So, how much does that need to pay? I don't think it needs to pay $2 a mile, because that's all highway, depending on where, of course, it goes over there in Weldon Springs, St. Charles. You know, what I look at is how long is it going to take me to get there? Let's say it's $21, 14 miles. As long as I can get there in 21 minutes, I feel like it's worth doing, right? So I drive, I get there in 21 minutes, I deliver, I come back, I'm back in 42 minutes, and I've made $21. I still got a chance to make another delivery, right? Trying to get to that magical $30 an hour. Now, I'm not a big by-the-hour guy. I'm more of a set a goal and reach it guy. But in determining if a delivery is worth doing, I will absolutely look at the $30 a mile, $30 an hour thing. You know, as long as I can get there, get back, and have enough time to still get to $30 an hour, I feel it's more than worth doing. I'd rather do 1 or 2 deliveries in an hour than do, 3 or 4 or 5, 6, whatever it takes. You know what I mean? But I'll do both. Now, when is it even more lucrative to take a longer delivery? Like when it goes to Maryland, out of Chesterfield, like when it goes to Maryland Heights, like when it goes to Fenton, like when it goes to, right on the other side of Manchester, or Manchester, Big Bend, that area, Creve Coeur, places you can get more deliveries. Now, I'm not a big switch zone guy anymore. I've done that a bunch of times, but now it's harder to schedule. Like Fenton, for instance, used to be totally wide open all the time. Same with Chesterfield. It's not. So you got to watch switching zones, because you may not be able to schedule back in your own zone. But as long as you multi-app, it's more than worth doing. More and more. I will get someplace. Just a couple weeks ago, I'll give you a for instance. I took a I don't know exactly what it paid. It paid about $21 for 14 miles, something like that, right? So I went to Maryland Heights. I knocked it out, and then boom, I got a Grubhub order out of Dairy Queen right there in Maryland Heights that paid $9 and went a mile, right? So already I'm up to 30, right? And then I got a $12, no, I think it was 14 actually, $14 delivery to come back to Chesterfield. Now that doesn't happen too much. The $9 1 mile thing, whatever, that happens a lot more than getting a delivery come back to Chesterfield, but it does happen. It's happened for me more than once. Okay, so more than twice, more than 3 times. So let's look at another delivery that I did. I did a delivery all the way out to O'Fallon one time, right? Did a delivery out to O'Fallon. I think, but just by itself, it paid $25. And then I got a delivery right out of Outback Steakhouse, or one of those steakhouses. I think it was Outback. Right there on the right down the street, that paid $15 coming back. Not coming back. It delivered like 3 or 4 miles right in there. Then I came back. So I made $40. So actually, sometimes they're way more lucrative than you would have made just sticking around your area. Some other things to think about: stack deliveries that go a long distance often have hidden tips. Uber Eats, especially, have hidden tips on longer deliveries and stacked orders that go a little bit farther. Almost every single time. If you didn't know this, Uber Eats has better deliveries than Doordash. They have a lot of horrible deliveries too. Don't get it twisted, but they have better deliveries than Doordash does, and their hidden tips are much better. They just don't have the value that Doordash does. But the more you do with Uber Eats, the more you'll notice that their hidden tips are more lucrative than Doordash. It's just that, some days you might only get 1, then some days you may get 10, or 5 or 6, It's just really inconsistent. Now, Grubhub. Let's talk about Grubhub a little bit. Go ahead and sign up for all 3. As long as you respond to Grubhub, they're okay with it. My acceptance rate on there is very low. My acceptance rate on Uber Eats is very low. Those are my secondary apps, right? But let's talk about a delivery I just did Sunday. I think it was Sunday. I took out of the Cheesecake Factory on Sunday. It listed as $12.50 for 6-point-something miles. And then as I turned around in the mall parking lot, it turned into 7.1 or something. So iffy, right? Iffy. But after I delivered it, a little bit of hidden tip, it made it up to 14 something. I think it was 14.25. So I ended up paying $2 a mile. And then on the way back, I got a $17 and something cents to go 2 or 3 miles out of Taco Bell for Grubhub. Wow. I've often said Grubhub doesn't have terrible deliveries. Now they have a lot of $1 deliveries that I would never do, but I would do a $1 delivery if it picked up like somewhere I was going and coming back towards where I need to get back to Chesterfield area. But a lot of times, like I got that was a $9 or $8.50. Now Saturday, let's talk about Saturday. The Cheesecake Factory had a gas leak. I actually got one of the last deliveries out of there before they shut down. And it also went to Creve Coeur and paid decent, like $17. And then what I ended up doing is doing some. I knew that I was having a great day, by the way. I made $330 something that day. But I was having a great day, but I knew that things were going to be different back in Chesterfield with the Cheesecake Factory closing, because that was going to spread out all the rest deliveries among whoever was working, right? And that was going to be rough. So I stayed over and did Grubhub and Uber Eats for about an hour. Did another $7 1 mile delivery out of Subway. Did a $6 2 mile delivery. I don't even remember what restaurant that was. And then Grubhub again came through with like a $16.25 delivery that I had to go 3 or 4 miles into Creve Coeur to get, but it came right back to Woods Mill and 141. So I probably made $50 that out, but then had to drive back. I really like the longer deliveries, especially since I started using Grubhub and Uber Eats. Gave me that extra option to get deliveries, on the back end of them. And they don't have to come back to Chesterfield. You just don't want to push in towards the city or something. They just need to either come back or go this way or that way, depending on how much they pay. But more and more, that's become a way more lucrative thing for me. Let's talk about Walmart deliveries, multi-stop Walmart deliveries. I also compromise my miles to money on those, because you can take the furthest delivery first and work your way back from Chesterfield. A lot of people just say, as soon as they hear Walmart, just go like this, they don't want to hear nothing. And then, I've heard people just say, I would never take that. It would be $39 for 23 miles. For one, they routed it probably so bad that it's really only about 15. You just got to reroute it, right? So it's really a lot of times a great paying delivery. And then the other great part of it, let's say you do a Total Wine delivery that's 23 miles. Well, you got to drive 23 miles, right? And then you got to come all the way back. With Walmart, you can take the furthest delivery first and then work your way back, and you still drive 23 miles, and you're right back to where you started. So really, you can cut those miles in half. Now, I don't take $1 a mile deliveries out of Walmart either. Don't get it twisted, because they are multi-stop. You gotta consider that. $1.50 is probably the least amount I would take, depending on the pay. What you got to think about is how long it's going to take me. I will actually ask people on Facebook, these trolls, what they like to do is they like to post these Walmart deliveries and say, would you take? And then when you say yeah, they like to attack you. Well, a lot of times, I say, I would take that. And I explain why, and they're flabbergasted. And then I'll even ask them, well, how long do you think it would take you to do that? And you might pay $39 or something. And they'll say, well, at least an hour. I go, so if you made $39 in that hour and you ended up back right where you started, you don't think that's worth it? And somehow they still say no. I don't understand it at all. When I mean at all, I mean at all. Anytime we can make $39 in an hour and end up right back where we started, you're not thinking right. I hate Walmart too. Don't get twisted. I cringe every time I see one. But some of them are worth doing. Now, the grocery deliveries, you want to talk about them a little bit with the 6,000 items or 20 items or 30 items, whatever it is. Man, there's some hidden tips on those. I would never do one that was less than $2 a mile, but sometimes they're worth doing, depending on where they go and all that stuff. A lot of times they'll go out in the middle of nowhere, so be careful. Make sure you're getting that $2 a mile, because they'll go all the way out to Wildwood, in the middle of the woods, for real. But I just wanted to talk about longer deliveries, why I like them, how sometimes they're very lucrative. I've made over $50 an hour doing them. And sometimes they're a little fun. You know what I mean? You get out there and then you start knocking out Grubhub and Uber Eats Deliveries, because you're not going to get any Doordash outside your zone, at least, very, very rarely. You have to multi-app, and I would say if you're not using Grubhub along with Uber Eats, you're making a mistake. I've had just Sunday, I had two $17 2-point-something mile deliveries on Sunday. One of them I talked about. I'm not saying all their deliveries are like that, but if let's say they have one a day, boy, I'm gonna grab that. But just wanted to make it a little different video. I set out to make a $300 a day video. I'm gonna make that on the way to work tomorrow. Hope you liked it.